out of the 7 chickens. What more can you ask for? Oh, another 6 chickens. That's what.
DMO though, I mean, look, they're still trying to fight back. They're still trying to find ways into this game. And even when we look at Chalitza as well, he's forgone any hopes of going for a more offensive build. He's going towards that dead man's plate. So speed up for the Q to try and get on top of some of these guys and a little bit more survivability in this lane. So again, DMO are looking to try and fight back. It's just hard against IG.
Herald's going to come down in the mid lane, and this should pretty easily be one tower for IG. The question is, can they keep this one going? They managed to keep the Herald from losing its health to the tower, but ultimately there's no real follow-up. Shu been able to get the nice little auto to proc the eye while the charge goes through. And in the meantime, we've got a Blade of the Rune King Gnar in the bottom lane, so he's going to just wait. Our way through these towers. Xiaopeng comes down finally to answer here, just to try and clear out the minions, but the Shy's going to give him a hard time even doing that.
But if you start to see Xiaopeng needing to go down to this bottom lane to fill the hub, to take control of this buffs, and when you've gotten a Azir and a Kai'Sa, you do this Baron so incredibly quickly.
Well, the Colonel's not a fan right now of DMO, and it's only getting worse as it gets to, I think that was 85.6% in favor of IG. DMO on the struggle bus, it has to be said. Chalitza will be able to at least come into the lane. I feel like this is the first minion wave he's been allowed near for a good old while now on the Volibear. But the big question is, how did DMO rectify this? Because the Colonel, all he looks at, Dagda, is just the current state of the game. He doesn't look for star power. He doesn't look for the pizzazz that we see in the LPL. What is it DMO can pull off here? What's the miraculous play to get him back here?
We can see them trying to get some of those plays back, right? They're starting to get these picks going where you got the Ashult, where you got Twyla and Xiaopeng hovering in the wings to see if you can get that stun onto Rookie. These are the kind of plays they need to make to find man advantages and try and relieve some of the pressure that Chalitza's under in the bottom lane, because otherwise the Shy will just continue to take these turrets. He's totally fine to stay down there this whole time.
He certainly is, and you can see him exactly there. He's going to be stunned up, exhausted currently, but his Gnar bar is stacking pretty quick. He's going to be slowed by the GLP, but as he's about to turn Mega, they decide that's not the fight they want anymore. IG, in the meantime, secure another Cloud Drake for themselves, and this is feeling a little bit like clockwork for IG.
Twyla's going to try attempt 2, but will be spotted out there.
Yeah, have a boulder. Oh, we've got an arrow coming on through, but Rookie keeps himself safe. Kicked away by Xiaopeng. In goes Chalitza to finish it off. You got a bear on your face, and he's taking on down Ning, though. Will burrow himself out of here. Chalitza is going huge in the fight. And maybe they've opened up a Baron.
They potentially could have. The Shy will keep pushing in this bottom lane, though. So if Puff and Southwind can try and keep them at bay, potential for the Shy to keep pushing here. But they don't want to do that. Instead, moving the Shy up, they want to try and fight because there's no jungler.
There is no jungler on either side, though. So there's plenty of potential for shenanigans here because IG are moving on through.
Twyla's redemption arc is here, though. He has flash, he has ult. He can try and turn this fight in favor of DMO.
Let's go, Twyla. Let's see what he's got up his sleeves. Goes for the ult, but it's only going to hit onto the support. Puff goes into the backline. They've got to shut down this AD carry. The Shy is about to turn Mega as well. Only going to get a stun onto one, but Puff has gone massive as he takes down the whole squad. Stunner stepping away and finding himself the fight.
Oh, God. Twyla got cancelled after Season 2. They've given over the Baron to IG, and now IG in full command can continue this split push through the bottom side with the Shy happily as Larry after that game.
Beautifully done from IG. And it's, you know, to some extent, it's what you expect from IG. When it comes to these raw moments of sheer mechanical play, this is the team you look towards.
And I wanted to see it happen. Twyla had that moment where maybe he gets the big petrifying gaze. Maybe it works out, but it's not enough. And Rookie does go in aggressive here, and I thought maybe we get that kick, but unfortunately Xiaopeng couldn't get in a position to finish him off. Chalitza does the job though, and Chalitza, you know he's damn angry at this stage. He's like, I'm getting this done. Deadpan's played on the speed up off the queue. But this here, I wanted to see Twyla just go straight for Puff. Flash over the wall, forget about the Shy, forget about Southwind. If you can finish off Puff, that's so much of this damage gone on this squad. But because Puff survives for the entirety of this, he's got so much he can work with. and eventually IG win out in that fight.
Puff played that so well. Dodging away from
Oh!
Twyla's ult first, dodging away from the arrow on the screen right now, then waits for the Shy to get a stun onto Chalitza. It means he can jump forward and get onto Shubin as well. Beautifully done in the fight.
Keep your eyes on Rookie. He's looking to make this big swooping play. But DMO are trying to contest on this bottom side against the Shy, so the IG will just be able to get this tower for free.
Yeah, they'll be able to walk on into that mid lane. Chalitza! Well, the Shy's about to turn Mega, but it's not quite going to happen. Twyla gets himself the kill. And that was just embarrassing for Chalitza, I'm not going to lie.
He tried.
He definitely tried.
I suppose.
After that last fight, I think he got a little bit too excited. Thought he was bigger than he was. And the Shy puts him right in his place.
And they're putting everyone on DMO in their place right now.
Shubin looking good there, though, with a nice bit of damage coming on in. Puff going for the tower dive, but Xiaopeng is here. Sonic Wave, surely. No, Downwind is tagging the tower, and Xiaopeng can't do anything about it. In goes Ning. And IG have found their advantages. They've found their lead, and they're just going to tear DMO apart.
Chalitza has bomb, but you're still looking at 30 seconds for anyone else on DMO. IG can just look to close this game out unless the miracle play comes.
In goes Rookie to knock them all back. Twyla's got to make something happen, but he's already gone down. There we have it. IG, they've torn DMO asunder. In comes the Shy for a little bit of glory on the final moments here. And IG, they lose game number 1, but ultimately, they always come back, and they always find the win.
IG will manage to take game number 3 against DMO in a very convincing fashion. And although that early game didn't quite go the way they wanted, when we got to those later portions where Rookie's able to shine, the Shy taking over against this Volibear once.
And actually, yeah, with the Blade of the Ruin King done, Gen G are moving towards a pretty good power spike to try and gather themselves a soul point, which they should easily be able to do. It's looking like the snowball's working out here, LS. How are we feeling? As far as like the amount of snowball that they need for this comp, are they at a good clip?
Ruler and Kellen could have just frozen top, and Summit would have to drag over Trundle to unlock it, otherwise he would just hemorrhage hundreds and hundreds of gold each minute, because there's no objectives up on the map. So that was actually a perfect free spot by Ashe. Complete lost opportunity. Root and Cavi would have made their way up to top lane. They would have missed all these minions, and they would probably end up actually missing this next wave as well, which is something that's lost out on. And during lull states like this, I mean, this should be the next leveled play that should end up happening, but instead, we're going to play ping pong, and then things get a little bit weird, because realistically there should be no kills that can occur, because both parties are completely aware
of what to fight over.
Where everyone is on the map, and it's very easy to use deductive reasoning to conclude maybe what could be waiting for you in the Fog of War at any given point.
Well, as we can see, Catalyst was completed, so, you know, it's not all bad. Summit is at least not going towards an Iceborne Gauntlet for his second ornament. It will be the Abyssal Mask, and he's still ahead in farm, up by about 15. Not going to talk about the freezing, which could have potentially given Rascal a bit more of an advantage. That's absolutely okay. And that was a very, very satisfying Cull the Meek.
Everything else is just going pretty standard. I mean, this has been a very slow early and mid-game day. Summit.
Ooh, Searing Charge was good. Buffered that one, as now he's just going to get smoked. And I don't know whether he's going to win this 1v2. He's doing a fair bit of damage here, but the kickback is going to deny the ram. Great timing there from Clid. Really well played. Bellow's Breath not available to avoid the Dragon Rage, and now Sandbox thinking about taking Show.
The funny thing is this is like an unintentional byproduct of what could happen if you were freezing. Even though Renekton didn't, the same effect is achieved where Ornn's super overextended.
Yeah.
And very prone to a gank. And at this point, I mean, Sandbox are just slowly bleeding out more and more. They're down 4,000 gold. Now, as soon as Ornn completes both his items, that actually, I mean, it's really big. It helps remove the gold deficit to an extent. But the problem is that Gen G are going to be threatening Soul Point. super early, 22 minutes or so.
Well, there's the ulti to come out from Fate.
Oh,
All the damage from BDD.
man.
The sickest of outplays as BDD's going to just get rid of that turret aggro. And Clid's going to go into counter jungling immediately after that really beautiful play. This Shirley not going to be able to take down the outer turret top lane. And, oh man, Gen G looking in flying form right now.
Well, at this point, things are definitely getting very rough. This is going to be Mountain Drake going over as soon as it ends up coming up. And Sandbox, they're never really going to be in a position to fight over any of these Drakes because of the way the gold deficit is, but their hand's going to be forced on Soul.
Yeah. And it's probably going to be one of the easiest soul points to ever be achieved by Gen G if they actually get over to the Dragon Pit, which it looks like they will be able to. But let's have a look at this fight once again.
Yeah.
I love Echoes that use their ulti for damage, by the way. BDD could have used it right here,
Yeah.
but instead...
He ends up waiting for the clone, and then Fate is... honestly, he's feeling very, very bad about that.
Yeah. The flash was also unfortunate as he died basically as that was happening.
This might be a oh no, it's not a perfect game. They have a turret.
They do have a turret.
Unfortunate.
They are one turret away from the perfect game, though.
Yeah.
So there's that. Something that good old Quickshot has always been telling me about. Max, stop talking about perfect games when there's no perfect game. It's like, yeah, but it's almost a perfect game.
All right.
As look at the Summit.
Whoa!
There's the kickback. Not going to be searingly charging that one, and Summit's also going to fail the flash over the wall. Soul Point, 5-0 in kills, up 6,000 gold. I think a lot of us knew that this was going to be pretty one-sided, but when it happens, it still does hurt a little bit. Sandbox just relegated to being almost in their base, even at the 18-minute mark.
And at this point, I mean, it's 4 minutes until Mountain Soul comes up. Over 6,000 gold deficit, but you factor in what Mountain is doing, as well as Infernal, and it's bigger than that. And we're 18 minutes in, so things are very, very, very hard. And if you're Sandbox and you have on rose-tinted, or if you're a Sandbox fan, you have on rose-tinted glasses, and you're also under the influence, you might think, well, Aphelios can still 200 years, right? And you know what, Atlas?
Yeah?
You're right.
Oh,
you know, I mean,
yeah.
there is a chance.
We have to remember that Sandbox's comp just does scale extremely well. So that whole story needs to be stated, but with how things are going right now, it's certainly not looking good. And so that flash was unfortunate, to say the least.
It's just looking so impossible because as soon as the team fight breaks out, Ashe and Echo are just going to have a field day.
And the amount of CC that they have available to them, man, is just crazy.
Right, and the other thing is the base levels. You have 1 in top lane, you have 2 in jungle, 1 in mid lane, 1 in AD carry, and it seems like the supports are even. But those base levels equate to entire absorbed skills or ability spellcasts from the opponent because of all the excess HP. So it's not just you get extra points in the abilities that you're leveling up. No, it's the resistances that go up each level, the HP that you get, etc. And this allows you to either sometimes ignore turrets because you get to just absorb damage and then still take a fight on even footing. But it's a very underappreciated edge that people can have over their opponents. And once they have Mountain Soul under their belt, 12% amp, everyone's getting cloth armors for free, and then the shield is just going to be too much to chew through for Sandbox who have sustained damage. So I don't know if Aphelios can bail them out.
Yeah, might need a few extra years maybe in order to make that one work. BDD, just in time, 2 minutes until that Mountain Soul is available. Completes his Lich Bane. We've got double Black Cleavers, only further augmenting Ruler's damage and the safety that he's going to be able to have as well. It's not a lot of diving that he's going to have to deal with, and Ashe into Trundle works very, very well because you get to kite him out pretty effectively, especially with Inspire Shield on top of it. I mean, you're going to need about 15 pillars in order to cause a nuisance. As we do have level 13 for Summit, so he does have a couple of ornaments completed for himself.
Yeah.
He's at least secured that, so that's a bit of extra money in their belt, theoretically, back to about a 5,000 gold lead if you talk about raw stats. But then you're talking about levels and things like that. They need to be factored in, so all of that money sort of goes back again. And you're still looking at being approximately 7,000 gold behind.
Yeah, when you factor in the dragons as well.
Oh yeah, true.
Things are very rough. 1 minute until that mountain, and if you're Gen G, you just want to play it as cool and calm and collected as you possibly can.
Yeah, don't want to let anything slip in these next 55 seconds or so.
Everything is just going to come down to Root. He has 2 items right now on Aphelios. He needs to just make sure he has the right guns. Right now, he's Kog'Maw.
Yep.
And we'll see.
Sivir and Caitlyn, I like to say.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I named them all with Crown Shot. You know?
It's a pretty good sidestep there from Root as BDD is going to dive onto him regardless. Still, that's a lot of years that we just saw as Rascal pops his dominance, flashes forward. Good cleanse, but Root's still in trouble. Can't flash enough as the bottom lane has already been taken down. Kellen is fighting Summit right here. It's going to get breathed on, but looks like the kiting is going to commence. And yeah, parallel convergence. Split's going to get out of there, and Summit's just ran around. And now with 3 dead, 8 kills to 0, Gen G should be able to take down the Mountain Soul and then move pretty comfortably towards the Baron or the enemy Nexus, depending on which one they want to take first.
Yeah. And, I mean, an Azir turret gets summoned here in mid lane, but this is really just looking like a very, very soon-to-be over game. Atlas says that is Mountain Soul that does get picked up. Unfortunately, Azir was highlighted. I really wish I could have seen the amp on one of the Gen G champions. I mean, let's take a look at this one more time. Caitlyn switches back over to Kog'Maw, does a little bit of damage to Ruler, turns Kog'Maw back on for Aphelios, as we did see a lot of damage go down, but they're just way too far behind. Root not able to do anything there. Summit waiting in the back lines, but ends up being found, and then he just gets completely blown up.
He was almost in position to get off an Ornhorn, but just couldn't really do it. He did actually utilize it, but not to any actual effect. Almost had a great angle. Not to be the case. 8,000 gold to lead. Gen G now with Mountain Soul will move towards a Baron. As Arrow's going to connect onto Cabby. He's got Smite, not anymore. Well and truly dead as BDD now looking for On Fleek. They take down the jungler. The freest Baron ever will exist. Rascal has his teleport available, but he's threatening bottom side of the map as well. And now Root has been discovered by BDD. I don't know what he's going to be able to do here, as there's the flash. There's the ulti for a lot of extra damage, actually, but does have a stopwatch, but it's just going to die before he can even use it. Good CC chain there from Sandbox. Meanwhile, Rascal is just taking down an inhibitor turret. And Rule is going to be getting to work on this inner as well. Backdoor bonus comes up, so the Ashe not able to do too much more. Surprising little mechanical misplay there from BDD, not to press his stopwatch.
Well, at this point, it looks like Sandbox, they're going to go back on wave clear duty. They want to be a little bit careful.
Yeah, there's the Ram. Ruler just Blade of the Ruined King, enough movement speed. And that's going to hit absolutely no one.
Has a career in the NFL.
Getting the goals, like it.
Sandbox now, I mean, they're trying to really hang on. Ornn just dinged 14, so he's going to be able to give over Molten Edge to the Aphelios. And these Ornn items do help mitigate the gold advantage, but the Mountain Soul, it really can't be understated. BDD, he goes over the wall on Echo, ends up flashing to kill Root.
Glid. He's going to go golden. Ruler's going to turn up, but now Root gets into the right position. Oh my god, the kiting out of Ruler's Ashe is just disgusting. On Fleek's going to go down. It's going to be Glid that grabs that kill. In fact, make it a double as Aphelios goes down. Hook to try and taxi out, but BDD says, hell no, you're not doing that. And Rascal, in the meantime, still bottom lane. As the Baron should be started.
Baron is being started up right now. Rascal's going to back up, and honestly, that Ashe kiting was very, very pretty to watch. It really looked like Ashe took on the mantle of Aphelios for a second.
It was a little bit like that. I was wondering how many years went into creating Ashe. She was one of the first champions, so I don't think that they had that much experience there unless they were on the Dota mod team. As Clid going to be discovered here by OnFleek to start the game-winning fight for Gen G.
Yeah, I mean, Clid manages to get over the wall, and then take a look at Ruler's Ash here. I mean, Aphelios tries to do something, and
Oh my god.
he says 200 years, and Ruler says that, I don't know what he says, actually. Maybe Ash is secretly Aphelios' mother. I have no idea.
I don't know.
The kiting was pretty insane. And there's really not much left for Sandbox in this game. They're down 13,000 gold and soul. Elder's coming up in 2 minutes, if they manage to hang on that long.
There should be Gen G just walking down some Baroned up minions in order to take down some Nexus turrets. Sorry, some inhibitor turrets. And then, of course, Nexus turrets as the arrow is going to pierce the heavens. Please, observers, can we continue watching it circulate Runeterra indefinitely?
The minions are having a closer battle than the two teams are.
Yeah, it is a bit like that. Not when the Baron's there, though.
Well, they are trying to hang on. 12,000 gold.
Molten Edge is there.
Yeah, Molten Edge. We're not going to pay attention to Azir's book, but there's no ornament actually anywhere else. So I'm not really sure what the reasoning is on that.
Oh yeah, there's no possible ornaments.
There's no
but he's
possible
level
ornament.
15.
Yeah.
Okay.
Really unfortunate for Ornn. Ornn is feeling very sad right now. His items are on clearance.
Yeah, this is the thing. Just can't sell anything right now, you know, as the Ornhorn does come down. Ruler is going to get pinned. Does still have flash available though, and he's deciding he just wants... He's not taking any damage at all. This is just insane. If Baruch can't get autos onto the Ash, then it's a problem. Or maybe he's just going to get taken down. As Clid was trying to get in there, but he's got a GA, so it doesn't even matter. Parallel convergence is there. The hook timing's great from Cabby. And you can imagine that Gen G probably still happy to take a fight 4v5.
Yep.
They, in fact, did take a fight 4v5 as Rascal was breaking the base bottom side of the map. But still able to take down the jungler.
Yeah. Ruler gets a shield.
Oh, God.
Gravitum, yep. Does end up getting used. Ruler almost back at full HP.
Healing is just revolting. As BDD is looking to go back home, gets himself a bit of a reset with the last 20 seconds of the Baron buff, improving that recall. Wonder what Ruler's going to go back and get. Probably building towards Infinity Edge, I guess, unless he wants a defensive item to make sure that he can just continue kiting forever. Wouldn't mind that. But instead, he's just going to start off this Elder Drake by himself.
Yeah. They're going to pick this up. The Baron has expired, but with that Elder Dragon, it should be a clear-cut enough way to beat the opponents. Cabby might try to Lantern in on Fleek. Okay, they're really going to go for it.
Yeah, we're going to try and fight this one out. There's a smite in the pit now as Clid is going to make his way forward. There's the parallel convergence that is going to deny any entry from Sandbox, and they will just make their way out. You know, like, almost look like they found someone in the bathroom. They're like, oh, very, very sorry, very sorry. We'll leave. Lock the door next time.
Yep.
As that was what BDD was trying to do. We're going to have a look at this once again. Clid getting caught out, and the hook was fantastically timed from Cabby.
Yeah,
We'd
well,
have to give credit where credit's due.
So Karma's shield comes out, and I mean, Ornn does this full combo. They do manage to get a couple hundred damage onto Ash, but then she heals it immediately back up. So there wasn't really that many abilities cast on her. And Azir was not able to really get in range. Clid does end up dying, and also losing his Guardian Angel passive.
Yeah, so that's good. For Sandbox, who have now got 2 kills. We're getting further and further away from that perfect game. 2 kills and a turret?
Well, Azania's Paradox as the ornament of choice for Azir.
Yeah, that's desperation. It's not the item that you want. That's okay. It's a bit awkward with Azir because you really want to have
Death Crown. Yeah, but it's very hard to get to.
Now also it's a luxury item anyway, so a lot of Azirs aren't going to be able to afford building it. As BDD going to ult himself out there, didn't want to risk it. And Ruler's just being frustrating. We'll just clear out that ward very easily. It's slowly but surely, but honestly it just feels like there is no chance for Sandbox and Gen G are taking their time.
3 base levels in jungle, 1 in mid lane, 3 in AD carry, 1 in support, 2 in top lane. it's almost as if they have an extra champion when you factor in the Mountain Soul as well. So they're playing it super, super slow and safe. They're respecting 200 years.
And they've got more than an extra champion's worth of excess gold as well.
Yeah.
They could fully kit out another champion. Theoretically, is that arrow also going to pierce the heavens? I just like watching them drift away. Sort of beautiful. BDD, he doesn't. He just wants to kill an Aphelios, and he does so. Blink and you might miss it, as that is... Yeah, it didn't take 200 years for that one to happen. As Rascal underneath the Nexus turrets now, and this should be the last fight here for Gen G. Parallel Convergence gives a big shield over to BDD, and the Crocodile is not dying here today. Not even taking up the turret. As you can see, Ruler, he goes down relatively low, but I think the turret did most of the work.
Yeah.
Now, Fate and Cabby find themselves still alive, but not on a Summoner's Rift that they want to return to anytime soon. Nexus turrets to be dealt with, and Gen G will secure game number 1 in 32 minutes. Maybe took a little bit longer than you'd otherwise expect, but was a very, very impressive showing with a composition that, if you watched most of the other LCK games, shouldn't be winning a game like this.
Yeah. They managed to just get very, very far ahead, and a lot of it came off the back of the bot lane, which is the one lane that we knew that would be vulnerable.
Yeah.
So Aphelios was picked into Ash Karma, brilliant. And then they followed that up with the Thresh pick when the Karma could have pivoted as well, but then they lost the lane outright. So that was very unfortunate. OnFleek never did anything to relieve the pressure. Neither did the Azir or anything. Not that the Azir really can. It's more so on the jungle at that point. And Ruler just got so far ahead. BDD made the one roam to bot lane. Azir or Aphelios didn't have TP or anything to come back in the lane. So things are really bad, and it just slowly built up, and eventually the game ended.
Yeah, there weren't any surprises there at all, really, apart from maybe Clid dying. It was basically a perfect game. You could almost call it that. And it was played pretty perfectly on the side of Gen G. I think a lot of it is to do with Sandbox not really offering much resistance, right? And I want to kind of see them go back to more of that mono red style, because then at least they're doing something, you know? Go out, you know, swinging instead of, you know, your scaling composition being absolutely out-snowballed with nothing that it can do at any point in the game.
If the Aphelios and Thresh didn't fall as far behind as they did, they would have been able to probably contest third dragon, but so many pieces just kept falling apart around the map.
Yeah.
The comp in theory, when you're really outclassed in terms of teams, relying on a composition to carry you in mid-late is pretty reasonable.
16.5 thousand gold, by the way.
Yeah.
That is a huge lead. As everyone out-damaging their opponents, aside from Renekton.
Take a look at that right there.
What's this?
Right to the left of the 6.
Oh!
Yeah, Sandbox was ahead at one point.
Oh my god.
And they let the lead slip away.
They did.
How could they?
Just absolutely obscene. All right, Gen G needs to go back to the drawing board now. I don't think that you could ever let that one slide again. I can imagine Odin's going to be pretty riled up about what his team has done. But, I mean, I'm expecting Gen G to come back swinging in game number 2. I want Sandbox to go back to the mono red. Give me the Aatrox, give me the Lee Sin, give me all of the early game that you can possibly muster, because just slowly losing was depressing.
Center.
All right, let's go to a short break. When we get back, we'll see where the Sandbox can fight from.
올라가자마자 바로 끝났고요.
그러면 여기서
전투를 열기도 쉽지가 않아 보이는데요. 시도가 자꾸 잡고. 케냐가
딜각을 만들어준 거거든요.
어쩌죠?
초비의 루시안을 못 막아요 이렇게 되면.
너무 좋아하네요.
와.
DRX.
아니 이걸 살아나가요? 아니 이걸 살아나가요?
자, 발포 안돼 발포. 네, 영주야.
칼리가 들어가고
달려 던졌으면 다이나믹 3명 남았습니다. 와.
스킬 연계에 있어서 약간 미스가 났죠?
사이드에 있는 저 친구들 계속 쏴대니까 에이밍도 밖에 나가기 어려워요.
근데 에이밍에 못 때리면 사실상 확실이거든요. 이렇게 그냥 난리 났어 여기.
투맵까지
여기
살아있는 자 있나?
원 플러스 사마귀들이
고양이
싹 지나갔어.
어우 예.
너구리는 잡아야죠. 너구리가 너구리 빠졌어요. 이러면 비비기. 너구리 쇼메이커 쇼메이커 트리플킬. 그러면서 쇼메이커 펜타킬. 쇼메이커 펜타킬 메이커.
안전하게 될 것 같습니다. 콤비네이션이 기가 막힙니다. 프로토 템번에 그 움직임들이요.
카운터로 대놓고 주네요. 그러면서
한 번 더.
아까 데자뷰. 아까 한 번. 이번에는 다르다. 한번 더.
오!
차 싸워볼게.
가는데 15초.
오케이. 하다 빠질게. 야, 팀의 상태 안 좋아.
네.
나온 건가?
빵빵을 사돌게.
벗어났고요.
근데 이거는
주영빈 돕니다.
이 포커싱은 느낌이 좀 다른데요. 너구리 좋았어요.
너구리 씨.
넘길 수는 없는데. 너구리.
죽었다가 살아나긴 하는데 이거 고리가 좋아요. 고리.
와 너구리.
아, 돌아볼게, 호주야. 가봐. 와볼래?
Welcome back everybody to the 2020 LCK Summer Split Analyst Task. That was Genji versus Sandbox. Genji had a very early win against Sandbox. Today, Genji pulled off a very confident comp today. And the core factor was Ashe in the bottom. So as Genji took Ashe for their bottom, Sandbox locked in one of the popular champions, Aphelios, because already 3 of the top tier AD champions were banned out. If you pick Aphelios into Ashe, it's really hard for Sandbox to have any priority in all 3 lanes. Well, they were having a very flat comp and a very standard LCK comp, but there was no way for Sandbox to find an opening in the end of the game. Genji did focus hardly on their laning phase, and they were able to convert that in the later phase of the game. At the same time, thinking of them trading their comps, it's really hard to point out their problem, because at the same time, this game was all about the laning phase. It all came down to their laning phase prowess. Genji had a lot of pressure, not even letting Sandbox to have their momentum to have the power spike. And Genji had a very early game lead with a very comfortable play over here. Especially BDD was having a very fantastic performance all throughout today. They had this information that Trundle was pathing around the topside jungle, and then Ruler double-checked it with his Hawk, and as soon as they got this information, look at BDD just sprinting to the bottom lane. Fates and OnFleek, they were trying to wipe out the vision around the jungle, so Genji had so many space to make their roam to the bottom lane. This was an accident for the side of Sandbox, but at the same time, Trundle and Azir, they both didn't pay any attention to the bottom lane. And for Ornn, he didn't really cast his teleport, so he could actually transform that fight into 2v3 or 3v3. Well, we can say that Sandbox players are not jointed as we expect him to be. And for today, Ruler has extended his winning streak on this champion. He's now on 5-0 on Ashe. BDD was having some pop-up performance today, showing off his mid-lane mechanics up against his opponents. As he saw, Azir was trying to run away from this fight with his dash. He used his Proto Belt to block him. BDD was just eating him like a breakfast over here. He didn't really contest a lot of his ability. It was a simple combo, but a really excellent mind game coming out from BDD. Echo, as soon as he can body block that dash away from Azir, there's no way for Azir to turn this fight around. But in the end, that was the auto that cleared out that kill from Lee Sin. But anyways, it was definitely a huge mid lane gap from this game. Then it's time to check out the player of the game. Echo from BDD was the main character of this game. Indeed, Ruler's kiting and his damage dealing was also one of the highlights of today's game. But if we have to go back to square one, that bottom lane turret dive was the beginning where Genji could just accelerate their lead. Echo was really moving actively all around the map, and with his mechanical prowess, BDD was really proactive today. And it was more like assassin champion coming from Genji, showing a little bit of a change of their team color, just like the spring split. BDD picking up 7 votes out of 12. He stacked up 500 points of POG, coming out on top of the POG standings. Now let's move on to the game number 2, Gen.G versus Sandbox.
Thank you, G-Sun, as per usual, and welcome back to the Caster Desk. Ladies and gentlemen, here for game number 2 between Gen.G and Sandbox. LS, is there any way Sandbox wins game 2?
That is a very interesting question, Atlas. I'm trying to think of...
Are you trying to work out a way of saying no nicely?
Yes. Yes, I am, actually.
All right, well, let's leave it at that then.
That's a very astute analysis.
Thank you. I like to think that my insight's right there. No, it's definitely an uphill battle here for Sandbox, unfortunately. Thankfully, they will have Yamato back for the next match, but this is still another one. It feels like this team is, well and truly down in the dumps. And when you're up against this sort of competition over and over again in your first few games, it really is demoralizing. And what we're seeing is more of a mental breakdown here for this team rather than them being completely outclassed on the Rift. Like, yes, we are seeing that, but I think the reasoning goes a little bit deeper than the Gen.G players are better than the Sandbox players.
Yeah.
I think definitely momentum is playing a huge part here. And Gen.G, they only lost in the first week, right? The same story as T1. Although T1 did just fall to Damwon, Gen.G are on definitely a winning streak here. 3 matches in a row thus far. As that Varus going to be banned away again. Bottom lane is where we're looking here for both of the teams, as Ezreal and Kalista banned both on the blue side.
And this is a pretty big deal for Sandbox. They're banning away Kalista and Ezreal even on blue.
It gives a free ban to Gen.G.
Yeah.
100%. Well, we'll see what they do decide to take away. It will be Karma. A lot of the first pickable champions have actually been removed here. Of course, all 4 of these champs definitely first pick worthy. Might be getting to the point where Trundle first pick is going to seem like a good idea. Don't know whether that's entirely true. As... see what this last ban's going to be. 4 seconds till Sandbox do need to make up their minds. Trundle is going to be banned. So where are we? We're sitting at the moment Aphelios is looking first pickable in theory. Yuumi is first pickable in theory. Gen.G probably will ban it.
We'll see what they're... it could just be set too.
Yeah, true. All right, yeah. Got to get them nerfs, dude. That's what you got to do.
Got to turn the pages.
Uh-huh.
That's just how it is. As Aphelios might get picked up. B1.
It's almost feeling like the best decision, especially with Karma now removed, so you won't have to deal with the Karma Ashe lane. Still, there are certainly other options that you can utilize as Volibear Instalock. Okay. Ashe? There we go.
So they're going
Freljord.
they're going for the Glacial passive here.
So it's a few sets ago, my dude. Have you been playing much TFT recently?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, no, there's not a lot of
it's fine.
Glacial anymore. But there is in this particular Gen.G composition. And Volibear at one point was actually really good in TFT. It's a while back though. Zonfleek thinking about going back to an old favorite here in the Jarvan 4. And it's going to be locked in.
The Volibear is, in theory, a triple flex. Support, jungle, and top. We've only seen him jungle and top so far elsewhere.
Yep.
And we'll have to see how Gen.G wants to utilize him here.
Haven't seen him be very successful
no.
so far in the LCK. It was Ixu that debuted the champion, I believe, in our first game when this patch was live. Is that Thresh going to come in once again? Looks like Kellen's going to go back to something like a Nautilus.
Yeah. Sandbox is... Aphelios is liking everything that he's seeing right now. Oh, he's liking it a whole lot more.
There we go. It's Sir Thomas. This is to make sure that Ruler can play as aggressively as he would like. This is something that I'd more attribute to Life's champion pool. I think Life has a very good Tahm Kench. But Kellen is, of course, no stranger to it, as LeBlanc is going to be banned away.
Yeah.
No mid laners to be picked just yet, so you may as well attack that champion pool.
And, well, Zoe is now taken off the table by Sandbox.
Maybe just ban something like an Azir, if you would like to. Azir Aphelios, certainly something that traditionally would work out very well. Didn't in game number 1, as we know. We'll see whether Clid's Lee Sin's going to get banned, or whether they assume that Clid's going to be playing this Volibear in the jungle. Because I'm looking at a first pick Volibear on red side, thinking there is no way you're going to blind your top laner instantly, especially when it's Volibear and he doesn't necessarily win all matchups. As we've already seen.
Well, Syndra also being taken away. And I wonder how Gen G are going to approach the R4 slot here. Because they can easily still choose a
Just
champion
play
that's
Azir,
flexible mid-top, and it still conceals where Volibear
That's true.
would go. But,
It's BDD.
yep,
So that
going to be
means
Azir.
pigeons.
Yeah, that is true.
We've got catfish, we've got bears, we've got pigeons, and we've got a lady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a rule. It's
Keeping the variance, I like that.
Ashe has a lot of pets
She does.
going on here. That's,
She does.
you know,
It's Ash's menagerie.
yeah.
Oh, this would be exciting. Have you seen this matchup before?
You know, I feel like Wadded tweeted earlier today, and
Yeah?
I told him, you know, like, if Aphelios isn't doing it for you, sometimes a little bit of Azir Corki
Oh, baby.
can really seal in the flavor. And, you know, there's nothing better than, like, B5 or R5 Aatrox and Renekton.
Oh, yeah.
So-
I think Renekton or Aatrox are probably, that's the best garnish to this composition.
You already know it.
Ooh, bit spicy though
All
here.
right.
Well, continue. This might be a bit, a little bit too much spice for some of our viewers. As speaking of which, we're going all in.
There it is.
Love it.
Oh, no?
All right, bit of Ornn instead. Not gonna have the greatest time is Rascal in this lane against Kennen. Certainly will be able to win out team fights, and it will be putting the Volibear in the jungle. That is going to be that. So the Ornn locked in, certainly a power pick for Rascal in the past, but he's been stepping away from it, opting in for more Malphite-esque tanks on the top side of the map, which I have been enjoying, but this is all right. And it's now Gen G that have themselves very standard scaling front-to-back comp.
Well, it does look like Gen G have a much more hard wombo combo engagey team composition this time around. Sandbox still with a lot of scaling. Corki and Aphelios.
Yep. And a lot of
Jarvan.
team fight as well with
Yeah.
the Jarvan and the Slicing Maelstrom synergy, or I guess counter synergy, depending on how you look at it and how it's actually employed in the game. But you can see it feels a little bit more cohesive on the side of Sandbox, although their last comp, there was nothing wrong with it. It was just a little bit too late game for what was being provided, and maybe the Jarvan's going to add some extra early game oomph to get them over the line.
Well, we'll see what they can manage to do. This one should be a lot easier for the bot lane to play out, and
Yep.
that can definitely cause a lot of interesting things. However, now the mid and top lane are going to be a little bit more susceptible all around.
I do
And-
like the Ashe and Ornn's menagerie though, because you've added, you know, Ornn up there as well to join Ashe in raising these animals, but you've also added a ram in there as well. So theoretically, there's 6.
Ashe is the
Map.
zookeeper
Yeah, definitely.
in this game. She even has a hawk.
And
to go
Ornn
into
is
the
like,
spear.
I think his name, he's a ram wrangler, isn't he?
The Forge God.
I mean, I know theoretically he's Forge God, but
Yeah.
he's also a ram wrangler. So it does fit into more of this zookeeping style of composition.
Do you think Ornn and Volibear being on the same team and trying to win together is like Goku and Vegeta?
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
Well,
Clid's
see how
having a
it
bit of a
pans
dance.
that sounded like a Pokemon.
It really did.
Yeah.
It's a Pidgey. It's actually a Pidgey. Is it a dance or is he just sleeping? Because he starts off 100% sleeping.
I'm not totally sure. Okay, well.
Okay. Headbanging. That's all right. We're going to have a look at some of the runes here. Press the attack, Volibear. Clid's going in. As you can see, bit of Predator for the Jarvan, the new and improved 10-12 Predator. And Clid's at least going to be running around the river quite effectively. And after he uses his summoner spells, thanks to the Nimbus Cloak, as Cabby and Root are just going to check their way through this brush, and we'll discover Ruler. Throws in a volley, and Sandbox are relegated from this entrance to the lane.
Well, Clid is going to be doing a solo start here.
Yep.
Yep. It's going to be maybe full clearing here on Volibear. Has Press the Attack, Celerity, and Nimbus Cloak. And so Volibear is basically the same family tree as Set and Olaf in the jungle.
Okay.
Set is the strongest late game of the three, with Volibear being arguably the strongest mid game. And then obviously all three of them having a lot of early game potency that approach things pretty much in a similar way. Olaf's the fastest clearer of the bunch.
Yep.
But yeah, and it's just sort of how they are. So
A little bit more dive potential on a Volibear as well, given that ultimate. But we'll see whether that Stormbringer is going to be working out here for the Volibear. First time we've seen it in the jungle here in the LCK, but of course you guys who have been watching other regions know that Volibear has certainly been partaking in some jungle. Root and Cabby not doing too awfully, as that hook is going to find that minion, and Ruler's looking for an angle on the volley. Doesn't actually find it onto the enemy champions, but clearing out minions is what the aim of the game is for this point in time.
Volibear just with the full clear, and you can see on Flake, he comes in there, he checks on the Raptor camp, sees that it's not there. Now, unfortunately, because of what's happening in mid lane, I don't think On Flake's going to be able to do Crab to Crab. And I'm actually really surprised that Ruler and Kellen didn't just go up and get it.
Yeah, probably should have.
Yeah.
As Clid's going to find On Fleek. Sky Strike not going to be getting any damage or slows onto On Fleek there, as he's going to get himself into the Shelly's pit. I'm going to go back home, try and grab those first couple of items. Cull start here for Summit. I like it. Noguri-esque maneuver.
BDD just trying to come in, poking the Corki down. His mana pool is very low right now. On Fleek, Predator boots have been completed. We'll see if Ruler actually uses a spell this game. Apparently he did not use one in the last game.
Ruler?
Yeah.
He didn't use a spell ever?
Did not use a spell.
Really?
Yeah, apparently.
I saw a lot of spells used.
Yeah, but apparently he didn't use one.
Ah. Well, that's very perplexing.
Yeah.
Well, Clid's going to look to try and steal this one away. On Fleek, lying in wait, wants to try and get a smite, I guess, onto the big one. Not going to be able to do so, as Clid's just going to happily walk away with everything, as you can see. Kellen in here is good old Tahm Kench, just trying to stop Cabby from freely walking back into the lane. As Root gets himself a Graviton, and On Fleek's going to move his way down, but completely within the knowledge of Gen G, is Cabby getting in position to try and find a hook. Might be able to find one, as now we've got a flag and drag to get On Fleek behind the enemy. It's going to be taking the enemy side Sir Grompulus.
Yep. Well, On Fleek is not going to be able to really find anything super early on. Clid does recall. Oh, man.
Is this just going to be...
Yeah, Kellen's just threatening to devour it.
Yep, and it's going to lose its patience, so at least the timing is going to be there, as Summit had teleported back towards the top lane. And Rascal has really evened out the CS here. You can see he's going to go back as well, looking to complete his Catalyst when he can. But just going to recap on some consumables, things like that. Catalyst does actually come in.
The other thing about this is that Jarvan, with the Predator boots, he's not finding anything, but also his laners aren't really doing him any favors on the Jarvan. And we talk about this a lot on the broadcast, that laners do not manipulate their lane states relative to their junglers' paths. And when you play a champion like Jarvan, you go Predator, you really need that to be happening, because otherwise you're just going to end up getting consistently out-farmed. and not having, I don't even know what he's looking for there, honestly. You know, that's
Maybe Azir. But of course, Azir's not going to be anywhere near this particular minion wave. There's nothing really to do. And Clid, he's going to move on over. You can see Rascal gets a really good shove out here towards the top lane, and that's going to result in a lot of added pressure that Gen G are going to have available to them. No big leads here for anyone. You can see it's going to take some time before Fate reaches his relevant point. He started with a tier. It's, of course, very standard, but not going to be giving you nearly as many battle stats as, say, a Sheen start would have been. But Root and Kellen having a better time down here.
yeah, much better than
Root
in.
and Cabby, sorry. Kellen, of course, remember, was Root's former partner on Jin Air.
Honestly, Clid really is the police in this game.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Just decimating on Fleek here. And he's, Clid is very close to level 6. On Fleek still 4.
Oh dear. No, that's level 6. That's a 2-level advantage.
Yep, it's a 2-level lead.
And he might be stealing away a blue buff here as well, which would be catastrophic. You're gonna have a look at that. As
Oh,
you see right
man.
here. On Fleek is very close.
Oh, Cannon.
Oh dear. This is going to be a pretty comfy dive, but not going to be able to get knocked up here as there's the flash. And I'm sorry, Summit, but you are well and truly dead.
Yeah, and I mean, you see his giant wave, it's pushing away from Ornn. You know that Volibear's in close proximity. You know that you can just get flash queued on by Volibear, and then you will be dead because it'll give Ornn the way to kill confirm you, or the invert happens. Ornn starts it, and then Volibear gets you. You can't escape with flash. So, On Fleek needs to help Kennen shove out the wave. Because otherwise, he's just going to get frozen on, he's going to go down 2 levels himself. So, the only thing that they are doing, though, is they're on point with the Dragon Capture here.
Well, that's a Devour. Very, very comfortable as Cabby's going to get volleyed. Rule actually finding Root with that one as well, who does have great weapons for this fight. Moonlight Vigil comes in. The arrow's going to land. Oh, no, On Fleek has put Root in the way of the arrow as now BDD gets the flash so easily. Scoops up a double kill for Ruler, and in the meantime, the top side of the map is going to be taking down Shelley.
Well, this is going to be the Rift Herald getting picked up by Clid. I don't know what Summit's playing with fire a little bit. Just going to end up backing off. Rascal is going to recall. Probably has a Negatron cloak available for him. On Fleek's going to come down here and absorb a lot of the minion EXP because he was falling further and further behind inside of the jungle. And this is at a point where EXP sticks really hard. So Ornal comes out, and this is what I mean. Your hand's going to be forced by either the large person from inside the mountain, Ornn, or the ghost.
Armored bear.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just bad news. Bears.
Bad news bears. I was thinking the same thing. Flash is out of the way.
Yeah, but allows Root to just get completely slammed by the arrow. And that's the beginning of the end as we have a look at BDD making his way in, gets himself to a safe position, and then everyone's dead.
Yep. Saying let's just get him. Yep. Asking for a spell check as well.
Now make sure you have good spelling.
Yeah. Almost has the Nashor's Tooth complete. Kennen going for the Proto Belt, but it's going to feel quite bad even when he does end up completing it because he is pretty even in lane here with this Ornn, which is not the situation that you want to be in. Also, On Fleek is going for Tank Jarvan.
He always does. He is definitely a fan of the Tank Jarvan. Summit, though, interestingly, has gone for the Conqueror Cannon. Seen almost only Unsealed Spellbook for the Kenny. This time around wanting a little bit more power as BDD just, shifts his way out. Clid's going to grab himself a turret plate. And no harm, no foul. Well,
Hawk shot.
A foul.
Coming out. And yeah, I think that this is another double kill.
Well, we'll see.
Volibear has ult. They're just gonna wait for Volibear.
Yeah. The
He's
walking
come down.
Ogre going to make his way in. Okay. Let's see how clean it's going to be, though, as there we go. Goodbye, turret. Not going to be doing anything there. As Root trying to 200 years BDD, but there are not enough. As Fate comes in and may have actually sealed it as BDD holding onto a mini wave. He's in an uncomfortable position. There's the Emperor's Divide, though. We knew that BDD was going to go down, and oh my god, the throw is hectic, but Kellen may have just saved it here as Clid. He's running on in. They're looking for On Fleek, who will take the Lantern. Tongue Lash comes in as well. And I believe in the end it is a 2 for 2.
Yeah. But I mean, it still ends up being a victory because you pull so many members down to the bottom, and they walk away with Volibear getting back to his jungle. OnFleek gonna have to be recalling. We take a look at how this transpires, and the ultimate by Clid comes out, and I mean, this execution by Gen G is a little bit sloppy.
Yeah.
Pretty much all around. BDD knows that he's dead no matter what to OnFleek, and so he goes for his last stand to try to shove the Sandbox members into his teammates. And I don't know what they're doing by trying to... You know Volibear's there.
Yeah.
So he's running into Fog of War to just have all of his life deleted.
Well, Ruler and Kellen get back to lane. You can see already Ruler has built up a couple of waves in CS advantage. As Fruit's still doing Aphelios things.
Yep.
Just hasn't looked quite as impressive as it did in week 1 especially. BDD with a very, very fast Nash's 2. Coming back to the mid lane with that one as Cabby just getting rid of blast cones where he can. Mountain Drake going to be spawning in 35 seconds. His arrow is going to connect. And Clid and Kellen are going to turn up. No one's going to be taking that particular lantern. And now OnFleek says, no, 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 no. This is not where I want to be. And Ruler and Kellen are going to pick up a whole bunch of plate gold as Shelly is making a way forward. Fate is going to get pushed back. And how many Valkyries do you have, my friend? Not enough is going to be the answer. As look, might be able to get over. As one auto was not enough as cleared. He's trying to canter his way forward. Skystrike not going to be able to find them. And now he's going to face check OnFleek, who's just getting the hell out of there. Because Clid is too scary.
And looks like, okay, they're just going to leave the red buff. Clid is going to pick that up for himself. That was a very close call. BDD did manage to almost get that killed. It seems like there's a fight in the mid lane.
Yep, this time OnFleek taking a bit of a beating from the Sand Soldiers. Now Clid going for another dive as Cabby's going to flash. Blitz down the box. Fruit's just destroyed, though. Mauled to death by a big bear.
Honestly, it does seem like Gen G have found the route to victory here in this game number 2. They seem to have really measured it out well, with Ruler being really well positioned here.
Yeah, no, I completely agree.
Almost like it was fate.
I think it was the summit of Korean League of Legends that we're witnessing at the moment.
Yep.
Okay.
Really on point here.
I'm really glad you didn't say on fleek. I don't know. That makes it even worse.
Trying to be a rascal.
All right, BDD he goes everywhere. Going to use that ultimate as OnFleek takes a little bit too much damage. BDD also getting poked out by Summit. You're not going to be diving him at this point in time. No summoner spells to come out from the jungle or top lane of Sandbox, so not too much to worry about there. But BDD also didn't have to use his. Arrow. Goodbye.
Honestly, I have a feeling that... Now, you notice the color of the arrow.
Yeah.
And you notice that so many they keep going.
Oh no, call the police. The ulti comes down so clean as Root. Yeah, that's a Moonlight Vigil that you probably don't want to tell your friends about. And the Burly Bash Bros in the Volibear Ornn combo is just frightening.
Well,
the Freljordian Doom Squad.
This is definitely not looking like a very good game here for Sandbox. They're just getting pulverized.
You want any control words, by the way?
Try to zoom in, which is a thing that you can try to do against Thresh Lantern.
He might have rebound his mouse wheel.
Yeah, that could be a thing, for sure. As, yeah, it is just a party in bot lane. OnFleek is about to die.
Yeah, didn't really want that stopwatch anyway.
And honestly, how generous. They managed to...
Okay, BDD not opting in for this one, as somehow they don't instantly die from that slicing mouse. Ruler kiting it out, gets the triple kill! As Fate must have assumed that he had that one in the bag, but unfortunately, he just joins the wallet of Ruler. His kiting today has looked amazing. Just vintage Ruler.
Now, the one thing I wanted to, mention to you. Now, you notice that Ruler keeps shooting his Ash Arrows off the map.
Yeah.
And you notice the color of the Ash Arrows.
Yeah, okay, got it.
So he's trying to summon the next Zoe skin. Have you seen that one?
Oh, Prestige. The Prestige arrow to go and find the Zoe? Is that what it's
I
doing?
think that's exactly what's going on here.
Okay, let's have a look at this fight once again. As, Gabby just gonna die.
Well,
Be the start of it. Rula didn't really mind about what was going on. There's now BDD's fighting Fate and on Fleek. The flash comes down. Oh, Fate just out of range of the Sand Soldiers. It's going to keep him alive. Good flash comes in there and BDD wastes his. So a lot of scrapping going on. Genji's still ahead by a country mile. But still some fun stuff happening as Root's getting autoed down. He is so far behind, guys. Over 40 CS. Another arrow is going to land. But nothing really to come of it, as they do need to start respecting these volleys. And Ruler and Kellen are very, very happy. Ruler's just so free to do whatever the heck he wants because there's Devour just chilling.
Yep.
And,
gonna be able to just get devoured.
haven't seen that many Tahm Kenches recently,
really...
so it gets exciting when you see a hook and then you remember Tahm Kench.
Well, I got nervous. I thought Cabby was gonna take it and they were both gonna die.
That would have been fun.
That's what I was half expecting. But not going to have anything happen. The gold lead continues to extend here.
Kid Icarus taking down that turret in the mid lane. And Klid's just going to clean up Shirley. As no defecting this time around. Both Shelly and Shirley on the same team. And the Bear is just going to try and swipe her down. Going to get there pretty comfortably. You see, as far as farm is concerned, it's only really Summit that's in the lead on the side of Sandbox. And that's half to be expected anyway. Abyssal Mask completed here for Rascal, who's moving towards level 13 very soon. Experience, having a look at it right now, actually not very soon. He's still got a fair way to go, as Ruler has definitely the most gold in the game right now, as BDD pretty far away, alongside Fate and Summit.
Well,
wow, Ruler almost has double the money that Root has.
Yeah.
Jeepers.
Well, if you take a look at the replay, BDD, he sets up a retreating Sand Soldier and then tries to just fight. OnFleek manages to get back over the edge. And I guess BDD doesn't have the Azir turret?
Yeah, that
available?
might have been on cooldown.
Yeah.
Also might have thought that Klid was going to get there at a similar time than OnFleek, but probably not, because of course Flag and Drag exists. You don't have one of those as a volley bear. So a little bit of a whoopsie when it comes to both junglers turning up to the fight at the same time. That was never going to happen. Cloud Drake going to be available in 5 seconds time. Earth, Wind and Fire is upon us. And that should be taken instantly by Klid and Ruler.
The Fabled Book has been completed by Summit.
Beautiful.
And other items, I mean, Righteous Glory on Volibear is very good. Helps him get onto the targets and stick.
Oh dear. He's going to flash into the Ornhorn.
Yeah, that was bounce.
Doesn't work out. Yeah, it's a bounce house. And Ruler finding the arrow means that they are easily able to guarantee that killer. This is looking real sad for Sandbox.
Yeah. This is 2 games in a row, very, very similar fashion. They can never really get anything started, and everything just keeps going really bad. And, I mean, I'm trying to think of something nice to say.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I'm feeling that. Do you know how you say something nice? Just talk about Genji.
Okay.
That's the easiest way to do it.
I don't like being accused of bias when there is none. And this is just catastrophically
Maybe talk about
unfortunate. Ah, okay. So, I mean, if I could, I would give Chovy Player of the Game here.
Yeah, that's definitely not biased. I think you've nailed it. All right, let's have a look at this one again. As, yep, layer of CC, pretty ludicrous. As I believe that was yet another kill going over to Ruler. As we come back to live, nothing really to talk about. Might of the Ruined King going to be available for Ruler in 1 level's time out of Rascal. Still needs to complete his Fortifier Cape, but he's very, very close. Just that recipe to complete. And we do have a Muramana on the Corki. He's scaling.
Yeah.
There's a fair bit of AoE here for Sandbox, and they still do have a great scaling comp.
Yeah, they do. And Aphelios can always try to do the 200 years. The thing is that Kennen's just really out of the game for the foreseeable future because he's not going to be accruing that much gold.
Yeah.
And if he's going to eventually start dealing damage in these fights, he's going to need a Void Staff because Ashe is picking up Death Stance. She's going to have some MR, and then she'll probably end up getting even more MR later. Now, Summit does manage to dodge there.
Yeah, but still
man.
made brittle. And Rascal has taken about 20 damage, I think. And Summit takes the majority of his health, but imagine if a few more abilities had a hit.
Yeah.
Is Kellen going to eat some grey health just to keep himself alive? Sandbox not going to go in on the Tahm Kench at this point in time. Teleport in as Genji's Baron take is discovered immediately, but they're not going to break off because they don't see any reason to. No package here for Fate. As there go the Sand Soldiers. We're going to try and set up. This could be a 50-50 actually, as they're relying on Clid to get that smite, and he is going to be able to do so. Kellen goes golden as well as the Slicing Maelstrom finds the backline, but Kellen just licks him, and he's going to go down as now Ruler still kiting this one out. Root just frontlining at the moment, but does eventually flash to get himself to safety, and Rascal wishes he had another charge on that Ornhorn as OnFleek. What was that? Rascal getting in on top of Root. He's still alive as Ruler's still trying to kite this one out. Aphelios does get one of the kills, but he's going to die immediately afterwards, and now Cabby trying to run. Clid has about no health. He doesn't really care. Fate does come in and gets lanterned out as well, and now without Ruler, that is a big deal.
Yeah.
Sandbox might be able to hold off.
Well, Rascal almost has his ultimate available again, but it does seem like everyone else has gone. Okay, well, Cabby is not long for the world, as he did come in via the teleport. Now, Corki is alive.
Does a lot of damage too. The rapid fire cannon now completed.
8,000 gold lead for Genji, and now Rascal has ornaments available to him. So probably going to give over Might of the Ruin King to Ashe as the first upgrade. In the Baron play, interestingly enough, it was a sort of 50-50.
OnFleek did get pushed out, but you're right, did make it into the pit.
Tries to go in, he gets lanterned out. Summit trying to do whatever he can, but he gets locked up. And so the Slicing Maelstrom ends up dissipating as Kellen comes out of his stopwatch, and then like you said, he just licked him. Clid made it out onto the left-hand side. And then I thought that Clid would just run top lane immediately and tap the minions, but you see actually comes back into the fight on the minimap.
Oh, but
and
the Devour was still there. And that's why OnFleek couldn't actually find a target.
Yeah. He went back in, but there was no real turning point. Fate does invest his flash in order to turn and kill the Ashe, which very surprising. BDD comes over the wall, does use a control ward to confirm that Thresh is indeed there.
Can confirm that control ward no longer remains on the map. Bit of extra money there for Sandbox, theoretically.
Amazing.
Yeah, beautiful stuff. Three-man Cataclysm, though, as in goes Fate with the package. Ruler trying to kite this one out. Summit's trying to catch up to him, but he's not able to. Volleys come through to try and slow everyone down as Root is going to be taking a double kill for Clid, as now Summit's desperately trying to get onto Ruler. He should be able to and does lock them down, but Clid has found him. And goodbye, Mr. Cannon. Now Cabby, I don't know where he's going, but I don't know whether he's going to survive for too much longer, and he's the last man standing. It looked like things were going okay for Sandbox, but in the end, this bear was just too damn big.
Yeah. And I think they had the end of the game if they just didn't chase.
Oh yeah, potentially.
With the minions, but they ended up chasing. No teleport available now, and they're not going to raise the inhibitor, and that's actually really good. There's no reason to give so much free EXP and gold over. And let's just take a look at what happened. So, nice three-man Cataclysm. The Corki package, however, not quite as good. And then Ruler and Clid just being backed up here. BDD doing so much damage. Shurima shuffles Cabby and Summit. And then, yeah, they have minions. So if BDD with his Nashor's Tooth just stays, and you let Clid keep chasing them down and denying the recalls, I think there's a chance that you end the game. But they end up playing it super uber safe.
I think that's okay. They get themselves to soul point as well immediately after this. That's a happy Clid.
검거다. 막타. 용이랑.
Arrested.
Oh, because of his policeman's.
Yeah.
I get it.
Also picked up the Adaptive Helm. for the Volibear here.
Yeah, he's not taking very much damage this game. As we also have the Zhonya's Paradox for BDD. A few extra stats. And the Might of the Ruined King, like we were talking about before, is going to be in there. So Ornaments coming down. We're very close to a 10,000 gold lead regardless. But Gen G are actually far further ahead than that, than you might think.
Yeah.
Fate does still have a lot of wave clear, so this bottom inhibitor turret is very, very healthy, but it's the mid lane that we're really looking for. As there's the Ornhorn, we're just looking to try and start a fight here, as that's a double knockup. One of them landing onto Root, that's very important. They buy space to take down the inhibitor turret, but now Summit, he's found the ideal flank, but Devour from Kellen is so damn good. Cabby has to go gold, and Summit's unfortunately just way too far behind. Doesn't do the damage. There's the flash into the Emperor's Divide, and Gen G will seal this game. Root's trying to run away, but this time I think Gen G have got the memo because they just want to win this one. Clid, yeah, no, the policemen are coming in, and I think Root certainly is going to be arrested and
200
sent
years.
immediately to jail.
Got arrested, yeah. Too old, you know? Like,
Do not pass go, do not collect
Yeah.
200 years.
well, Clid is showing us that he's an expert in Monopoly this game.
Oh yeah, he's basically the chance cards that feel like they're always just sending you to jail, directly to jail. As Ruler will take down this Nexus, and it's a swift 2-0. Back-to-back tonight. This is what we expected out of Gen G, but it was very clean. And now, our Friday just got even more interesting because Damwon, they really put away T1 in pretty surprising fashion in our first series.
Yeah.
And Gen G have gone on to do the same to Sandbox in the series immediately following, meaning that momentum's a bit crazy going into this one, where T1 have always had the edge over Gen G,
Yeah.
especially this year.
And so we'll see what does end up happening. For Sandbox, that is the end of their Nightmare run against the pretty much almost all the elite teams in LCK. And so now they're going to have a couple of easier matches, and we'll see what they manage to do against them, because that'll really help gauge where exactly they are genuinely standing inside of the league. Are they legitimately 10th place down there with Hanwha Life? It looks like it.
Yeah.
But we'll find out for sure when they do collide.
And also, we will find out what changes when Yamato Cannon is actually here on stage with the team, here at LoL Park with the team. You can see Joker, he's doing the best that he can at the moment, but I think Sandbox probably want to make sure that they have everything that they expected to have for this season locked down before we can really see them find some improvement. And I think that Yamato Cannon comes in at exactly the right time, where the competition does dip down a little bit. You should be able to find yourself a few victories and then get the momentum, get the headspace back on track for Sandbox.
Well, Sandbox, they're having trouble where the laners aren't able to do enough on their own accord, at least not against the top teams, and then the jungle is very lost. Almost like the TV series Lost, which is very good, by the way, except for the ending. We don't talk about that.
Yeah, I haven't actually, I haven't watched much Lost, mostly because I heard about the ending being absolutely terrible, and it makes me really just not want to invest that amount of time. How many seasons are there? Like 650 or something like that?
Actually, I have no idea. I binge-watched it in a week.
Wow!
Yeah, and
that is an extraordinary amount of time spent watching Lost.
I think in 2013 I binge-watched it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very impressive. Very impressive.
It was very good.
As was Gen G's swift destruction of Sandbox. Who did you give your player of the game to?
Give it to Clid.
Gave it to Clid?
Yeah.
I think the policeman probably deserves it this game. We'll see whether it's unanimous. I have a feeling 12 out of 12 is probably going to happen. Our first Volibear jungle, and Clid demonstrating exactly what it's supposed to do. I know a lot of you guys at home have seen it many, many times in other regions, but this is the first time for us here in the LCK.
I think Volibear will have more success in Korea than any other region, as weird as that is, because the laners are so passive and reserved that Volibear's ability to just dive turrets brain dead is probably going to be very helpful, combined with his early game potency, like Set and Olaf. I think it's pretty much foolproof. But he is vulnerable when laners interact with the junglers and manage to play around his obvious weaknesses. So, just some highlights from this game.
Some Devour highlights.
This was the real, I don't know. Watch on Fleek's flash here.
Oh, no. It feels real bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how much it would have actually changed. Like, OnFleek would have just maybe died
He would have
as
died,
well.
but Aphelios
Might have survived.
would have gotten out, yeah. So that's definitely surprising. Right here, Kellen was the one tanking turret.
Yeah, so
So
is absolutely
Yeah.
fine. That's why he was sort of ignoring the fact that Flag and Drag would have that added CC. That regurgitate over the wall was absolutely beautiful, and this triple kill sort of coming out of nowhere, to be honest. Corki unable to get that front end burst working. His OnFleek gets exhausted and then flashes and then is unable to actually land the smite. And Summit so close to having value, but unfortunately he just fell too far behind.
Yeah.
And even though some of the flanks were great, he just didn't do enough damage.
It was a B5 cannon as well,
Yeah.
which was very surprising because you're picking cannon and you're going in blind, and there's so many champions that can ruin that champion's life up and top that were even actually okay in this game. So it's not even just the Ornn that could cause him problems.
Flash forward from Fate, saved a bit, but not ultimately enough. And unfortunately here for OnFleek, the Searing Charge being able to break terrain and also get a knock-up onto the Jarvan sort of worked against them in this particular fight. And Ruler kiting people out pretty effortlessly as BDD was untouched because everyone was just trying to take down the Ashe. And yes, congratulations, Sandbox, you did that, but then you got aced and lost the game.
True.
The dream cannon moment, am I right?
Yeah. I mean, they landed everything that they ideally would like to land, but look at Root and Fate. They could never really enter the fray.
Well, there they go.
Yeah.
Entered the fray right there. It's not exactly the avenue that you want to go. But unfortunately, in this game, they were just too far behind. As we have to listen to BDD being very happy. Klid should be taking down player of the game here.
Yeah.
10k damage, exactly double that of OnFleek. As we have a look, not that many years in it, but the damage dealers of Gen G doing exactly what we expect from them. You can see good old BDD doing a lot of damage on his Azir. I still believe he is undefeated, as we have a three-way tie when it comes to the Pog vote.
Yeah. 4 jungle, 4 mid, and 4 AD carry.
That's weird. Why don't we just give it to Klid? Because he was the one that deserved it, in our opinion.
Yeah, I mean, he really got the ball rolling, mitigated basically Kennen from ever coming into the game. He was there in the plays in bottom, counter jungled the Jarvan, kept him out of the game.
I think the game was won based on how well the Volibear was played. Plus,
Won
the
the
first time
fight
we've
fight
seen
at Baron.
Yeah, obviously has practiced a new champion in order to bring it to the LCK.
True.
There's a lot of little things that you could say there, but we'll see what is going to happen. There are ways
Seems
to
be an
break
error,
ties.
though. I don't know. It's only a 3-way. It should be a 4-way tie.
Oh, so what must have happened is, you know how we have the specific votes that are used to break ties? All 3 of those people must have individually voted for BDD, Klid, or Ruler. So
I'd give it to Chovy.
yeah, I think maybe just in the end, Chovy gets it.
Yeah. That would make the most sense.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So congratulations to Chovy on one of his first player of the game votes so far.
In a match he didn't even play.
I know. It's epically impressive. That's going to really help their momentum moving towards tomorrow's match, which is actually going to be a big one. DRX versus Team Dynamics.
Yeah.
We get to see how legit Team Dynamics are, because they've done an opposite Sandbox. They've gone through all of the bottom-end teams, apart from Sandbox, surprisingly, and are now faced with their first real true test, which is, of course, the #1 team that are currently undefeated here in the LCK. There's not much test that gets bigger than that. We're still deliberating, by the way, guys. We're still trying to figure out who to give this this dang player of the game to. I don't know, are we going to have a revote or something like that? Maybe we ask Jonas Strong, it's like, do you want to change your mind, maybe? Or something like that? I'm not entirely sure.
The observers were shilling in one of the,
there was some,
one of the series today.
I spoke to...
Support vote?
Yeah, I spoke to Jonas Strong about that. He thought that, that the Bard deserved it. I didn't see too many Tempered Fates that really worked, and then Woodid was sitting next to him, and he's like, come on, man, you got to be trolling. And so, yeah, Woodid agrees that those support votes not necessarily the greatest.
Totally fine.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't me, man. I completely agree that
You didn't get a vote.
definitely should have gone there. No, I don't. I had my vote removed because I obviously would have voted for a Bard, and that requires that I just no longer sit here. I'm still waiting for more information, by the way.
Yeah.
We just don't know who to give this player of the game vote to. Maybe we just give it to all three of them, and because
Perfect.
you get 100 points,
A
right?
team
So
vote.
they get 33.3 points
Okay.
each. And then, I guess, based on how division works, we're going to lose a very small amount, as we do have the result. So it's going to go to Clear.
Great.
Perfect. There we go.
Justice has been restored.
6-0-0-9 with kill participation of 75% at 15 minutes, and his gold deficit, or gold difference at the end, was being ahead 3,500 gold. Not bad at all for the debut of Jungle Volibear.
Yep.
Oh, this punch is so satisfying.
Well, sat on Kennon's head.
Yep.
Is all that happened there.
Good
Sat on Root as well. Autoed the turret once for good measure. Let
And
it- let him
own-wrecked
know.
it as well.
Exactly. And then right here, helping Ruler out to deal with fate.
I mean, Clid just took absolutely no damage at all.
Yeah, he just really couldn't be focused, which
I mean, he's not supposed to be, right? Because he's a tank, but unfortunately does a little bit too much damage. Yeah, Sandbox trying their very best to lock down BDD there, but they couldn't. Too many carries on this Gen G squad.
Yep.
With Clid there able to control the battlefield really beautifully. It was a great game out of Gen G, a good series for them, but not necessarily the caliber of competition that we really want to see. We want to see Gen G up against the very best here in the LCK. So they lost to DRX, they managed to take down Dam1, and now they're up against T1 in a couple of days, and that is going to be very, very interesting stuff.
yeah, that'll really, I think, cement where they are, at least in round number 1, because I can't imagine them dropping a set to any other team
Yep. And
so far.
they remain tied at least with game score and match score
Yep.
if they 2-0, if T1 2-0s them on Friday. Otherwise, there's not going to be a way. Of course, head-to-head will put, I believe, the winning team above. So if T1 do manage
Right.
to win, they actually move ahead of Gen G, which is very interesting. But I believe we do have an interview now, and that's why the music has stopped. We haven't quite panned over there yet, as I'm waiting to send it over to G-Sun. I'm so ready. As here we go. So take it away, G-Sun, with the interview translation.
Late, but on-time interview translation, and we'll be hearing from BDD Clid, a 2-0 win against Sandbox Gaming. Today, again, we really needed the momentum because our next match is so important, so I'm happy that we secured that. Clid, first time seeing you on the Summer Split interview. How do you feel, Clid? Yeah, just as BDD said, remaining this momentum was really important because it was going to be a huge impact on our next series. So I'm happy that we were able to get this kind of a clean victory. BDD, you are on the top of the POG standings. I mean, you were the season MVP of the last split, but you said your performance in the Dama series were only 1 out of 10, and this last time it was 1.5 out of 10. But what about today? I'll say 2 out of 10. We're going up, right? You're ramping up. I will keep going up 1 game at a time. What about Clid? Would you rate his performance? Well, if I had to rate BDD, I always think him as a 10 out of 10 player. I'll give him 10. Then BDD, what about Clid? Clid. If I have to rate him, I think he was like 100 out of 10. This mid jungle synergy is on point. Look at the huge screens on BDD and Clid face. Clid, did you expect this? I mean, BDD always has been really nice to me, so I was looking forward to it. Let's talk about the game first. Last time it was Taliyah, now you played Echo. It's been 2 years since it was last played in the mid lane. What was the reason in that pick?
롤챔스에서도 아지르나 막 신데라 상대로 나오기도
I mean, originally it was a pick into Azir or Syndra, so that was the main reason.
젠지의 경기를 보다 보면 저희도 깜짝
Whenever we watch Genji game nowadays, there is just no time to go for a replay because you guys are fighting like all day.
노력을 하시는 건가요?
Is that the team's goal, being more aggressive
연습 과정이나 대회에서도 보면
during the screens, and also in the competitive games, our goal is to like make a lot of fights and making the opponents flustered.
정말 1세트 정말 파괴적인 경기력을 보였는데 룰러가
Game number 1,
1경기에서 0대4에다가
Ruler didn't die,
스펠도 안 썼답니다.
and he didn't even use any of his spells in game 1, but he missed his POG.
스펠도 안 썼다. 이건 엄청난 거 아닙니까?
I mean, which means that he was staying so intact, but
뭐래요, 룰러?
how was his performance? What did Ruler say after the POG announcement? We didn't know about the spell, but all day long, all he said was enemy no spell, enemy no spell. Ruler has been doing a lot of work down in the bottom lane. In addition to that, a lot of people have been saying that Genji, they are really strong in the practice games and scrims, but you guys are not performing fully up to your potential, and BDD, you also mentioned that in your interview. But for today, I think we were going a little bit more aggressive, so it was similar to our screen form. Clid, Volibear jungle is a meta pick in other regions, but this was the first game for Volibear jungle. What is the strength of this pick? It's really strong in 1v1 fights, and also the jungling speed is really fast. So it depends on each team, but for me, I highly evaluate this champion. Genji's speed is bad. The game duration is even shorter than the spring split, and you guys are having more kills. Is this the path that you guys are trying to take? In the MSC, we were losing perilously to LPL teams, so that became a huge inspiration for us. After that, we believe that fighting is better, even though this might be a dicey choice. As you guys mentioned already, the next match is so important. Your opponent will be T1. This can be a rematch of the finals. This can be your time to get your revenge. So, what's your mindset going into that series? Recently, we are really aggressive and proactive on stage. I want to keep it at the T1 series and do my best to get my revenge on T1. One day, I believe that T1 is the obstacle that we have to get over and like improve on. So I always believe that we can make it. So I will not give up and do my best in the next T1 series. This will be the end of the interview with BDD Clid from Genji, and I'm gonna pass it back to our casters. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ji-Sun, as per usual, for your interview translation, and pretty early night tonight. I'm not entirely sure what the time is here in KST, but Genji made pretty short work of good old Sandbox. What is it? Give it to us.
I might make it home before midnight.
Oh, wow.
You know.
Well, that's a pretty swift ending to what was a day that was fast, right, but did teach us a lot, especially our first series. Good to see Damwon bouncing back after what was their loss against Genji. And as we check out the standings, Genji actually creating some distance between themselves and T1.
Yeah.
After today, 4-1 for them, 3-2 for T1. But very early days in the week, and Genji will need to take down T1 if they want to get themselves back. Remember, if T1 2-0s Genji, then both teams are going to be on +3, but head-to-head goes to T1. So
yeah.
We're back to square one all over again, actually.
So also T1 has to be very bothered by Afreeca. If Afreeca just wins their series 2-0,
yep,
they end up passing T1.
And that's why the KT Afreeca series, which I think is on the last day,
yeah,
is going to be quite important as well. Because T1 losing to Genji this week puts them on 3-3, which
yeah,
is actually really, really rough. But tomorrow, we've got some interesting matches. DRX versus Dynamics is a big one.
Afreeca can actually take that lead over
Tomorrow.
T1. Yeah, tomorrow. And DRX look to extend their lead against Dynamics. And that one will be interesting because I feel like this is where Dynamics is going to finally... Well,
yeah, I think this is the series that makes Dynamics honest, right? It
Yeah.
either makes them literally good or keeps them honest here in the LCK.
Yep.
Because we're still looking to see whether, you know, they're fresh out of Challenger. They've had a really good start, only one loss so far this season, but they haven't truly been challenged. So looking forward to seeing what they can do against the highest tier talent here in the LCK. But that is going to do it for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you tomorrow for more LCK.
And I am ready to take it on. You told me to be myself and never feel alone. You're all that I want, you're all that I need. If I was ever in the dark, I'd see. You've always believed and have faith in me. You'll always be my hero. I love you for everything you've done.
Parks are right. Don't be suspicious.
Not worth anything now. And I don't need it either, so...
Squad in dark, White Knight. Just run in now.
I'm pushing Mark now.
I will see him. Thank you.